This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We are live in Abuja. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. We'll begin with party politics, where President Bola Tinubu says he remains committed to the strategic repositioning of the country, which requires that the government builds on current successes and projects a forward-looking agenda for the country. The president made the commitment at the National Caucus meeting of the governing All Progressives Congress, APC, in Abuja. State House correspondent Musbau Danwahab reports that President Tinubu won the caucus's vote of confidence for his handling of the affairs of the state.
President Bola Tinubu attended his first National Caucus meeting of his party, and that popular rendition played out again. The APC was preparing for its first National Executive Committee NEC meeting since August 2023. In this seeming preliminary house cleaning, the national chairman, Abdullahi Ganduje, reported on the activities of the party under his watch so far, and the progress listed included successes in off-cycle elections in some states. However, former governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, called the attention of participants to matters of national importance, including the improvements recorded on the economy and fight against insecurity in parts of the country.
People evacuated because of insecurity, more especially. Let me cite Nansado. But today, God is infinite mercy. On that watch of our president, everyone can drive and ply that to pray.
Because the president has been able to drive most of the articles in our manifesto to fruition, we should be able to give him a vote of implicit confidence. We shall stand on your mandate, on your mandate.
I'm very grateful. Thank you very much for the vote of confidence.
President Tinubu appreciated this, another show of support by his party members, commending them for their loyalty to the party and for believing in his administration despite the initial hard decisions taken.
Our strategic repositioning requires us to build on our sources and project a forward-looking agenda that resonates with the hopes and aspirations of Nigerians. I am here promising that we are doing that. I have a commitment to our manifesto, progressive ideas, and the belief.
The president pointed out that the nation is already turning the corner on the reforms to place Nigeria for greater heights.
The policies are difficult. There is no way Nigeria could have survived the continuation of oil subsidy. There is no way. Today I can beat my chest, and each of the governors here, that allocations to the states is tripled. We have enough funding for the local government. We have NEL fund to fund our children in school.
With this meeting and the agenda drawn out, the party is set for its NEC meeting this Wednesday at the party's National Secretariat. From the State House, Musbau Danwahab, NC News.
And of course, the NEC meeting of the ruling All Progressives Congress ended about an hour ago here in the Federal Capital Territory. I'm being joined in the studio by NTA political correspondent Abubakar Akwanga. Abubakar Akwanga, thanks for coming on the news.
Thank you, Ayodeji Makinde, for having me in the studio.
Oh, great. With the NEC meeting of the APC, which is the leading story this moment around the country, did the outcome of deliberations there meet expectations of most party members and the yearnings of Nigerians?
Of course, yes. I would say with confidence that yes, because the NEC, that is the National Executive Committee, is one of the organs of the party under Article 11 of the Constitution that binds the party. And what happens today at the Secretariat of the party is in fulfillment of the mandate of ensuring that certain principle, certain expectations and certain doings of the party are held, quarterly under the Constitution to review, pertinent happenings, pertinent development within the party structure. And the president was very emphatic about the unity of the party. He was very, very concerned about the integrity of the national leadership. And as Musbahu said in his report earlier, the NEC, passed vote of confidence, and that was moved by Governor Hope Uzodimma, and the seconder was the former governor of Edo State, Adams Oshomole. They passed a vote of confidence which were unanimously endorsed by other members that the president has performed well. He has done his best within the time he has occupied the office as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And just an addendum, we will know that the NEC is not for everybody. You must have held a political position within the party, or rather even outside the party, before joining the fold of the APC. That means all that we saw there today are either former governors, serving governors, former principal, members of the National Assembly, and current principal members of the National Assembly. And of course, former vice presidents, former presidents, and others. But the national chairman of the party, said to the hearing of all attendees that the party has performed well. In fact, he outlined some of the achievements he has recorded from the day he assumed office, and that was 3rd August 2023, when Abdullah Adamu and his National Secretary, Omishiri, Iola Omishiri, were all set out of office and they were ushered in. He has achieved a whole lot, beginning from the Progressive Institute and the e-registration, which kickstarts like a few weeks ago, putting it into perspective. He said the assignment is to ensure that there is a broad-based data capturing system for every member of the party nationwide. This is to make sure that accurate numbers of those who are bona fide, APC card carriers are harmonized, so that these could be used to process information in the future. And of course, the party were so very, very happy with the leadership under the condition of the account of stewardship that the national leadership gave to the NEC today. NEC was so happy. This is, far from the fears that people have, exercised before today, that what might happen is the uprooting of perhaps the national chairman. But of course, to the surprise of everyone, those who attended, in fact, those who are, strong institution that made that NEC a very strong institution, passed vote of confidence on Ganduje as well as the president. And this to the party is a good development, I must say, because as a governing party, should there be any crack, it will escalate even more than what the opposition is facing today.
Abubakar Akwanga, NTA political correspondent, I'd like to thank you for your analysis of the evaluation and outcomes of the NEC meeting of the ruling All Progressives Congress.
Thank you very much, Ayodeji Makinde, for having me in the studio.
Let's talk some other news. The federal government's commitment to agricultural revolution can be facilitated by partner research and production institutions like the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, including volunteer partners. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports that Vice President Kashim Shettima stated this when he embarked on an assessment tour of the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture in Ibadan. He expressed total confidence in the capacity, expertise and ability of the institution to harness the nation's agriculture potential. The Vice President explained why government is poised to partner with IITA, noting that the institution's commitment to practical research and robust technological innovation in Nigeria's agro-food sustenance policies.
Towards repositioning the agriculture industry in the country. We ought to be not where we are. We ought to be punching higher. Honestly, we came with the bravest of minds and the cleanest of intention for a real partnership with IITA. I want to thank you. I want to thank IITA on behalf of President Bola Tinubu for his unwavering support, his commitment to excellence, and his role in shaping Nigeria's agricultural future. Not even Nigeria's, but Africa's agricultural future.
Our efforts ensure that Nigerian farmers gain access to improved climate-resilient crop varieties, boosting yields, enhancing food security, and improving the livelihoods of both smallholder and commercial farmers.
The IITA is spearheading multiple initiatives that have improved access to climate-resilient seeds and agricultural technologies. IITA has also played a crucial role in crisis response, partnering with the Presidential Food Systems Coordinating Unit to address recent ginger blight epidemic. Minister of Steel Development Shuaibu Abubakar Audu has expressed confidence that the Metallurgical Industry Bill 2023 will reposition Nigeria's steel sector for sustainable industrialization and economic growth. This was during a stakeholders' engagement to fine-tune aspects of the bill ahead of public hearing at the National Assembly. Correspondent Ekene Undulwe reports.
Creation of the Federal Ministry of Steel Development following its separation from the former Ministry of Mines and Steel Development has necessitated a fresh review of the Metallurgical Industry Bill. Key players have gathered in this hall to review the bill, identify gaps and propose necessary amendments ahead of the public hearing.
What we're talking about here is having a law which will be able to address many of these key issues, and they're very potent issues that unless they are addressed, our country cannot grow.
So with the emergence of the Metallurgical Industry Bill, we are very optimistic that the industry will be more stable.
Minister of Steel Development says the bill will address long-standing issues in the metallurgical industry, ensuring it becomes a key contributor.
For many decades now, the steel sector has been operating without any regulation. The president, like I mentioned during my speech, is very determined to grow the Nigerian economy to $1 trillion, of which the steel and metal sector will play a very critical role in helping us to achieve those objectives.
As stakeholders rise from the meeting, the consensus was clear. A well-implemented metallurgical industry bill could boost Nigeria's industrial capacity, create jobs, and drive economic growth. In Abuja, Ekene Ndulwe, NTA News.
In another news, the fight against the consumption and sale of fake drugs and substance abuse in Nigeria has become intense, with the country's National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, alongside other agencies fighting actively. With this in mind, major stakeholders say close monitoring and widespread advocacy will reduce the growing number of drug syndicates. Adejoke Odeka tells us more.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, in its ongoing nationwide clampdown on fake, substandard and unregistered medicines, has reiterated commitment to frustrate the plans of evil perpetrators.
We are not disturbing trade. We are trying to make sure that Nigeria survives.
Apart from the issue of substandard drugs, another major challenge bedeviling the country is drug abuse.
The kind of content they put online, they promote it as part of a lifestyle, and you notice a lot of young people that take it. It's just for them to be associated with that lifestyle.
Non-education. Some are maybe from the family background.
However, experts say the constant use of drugs can lead to addiction, but an increase in advocacy and arrests of the culprits will end the abuse of drugs.
Our offensive action is specifically targeting drug barons to disrupt distribution networks and uproot the drug pipelines in the country.
Embracing the right regulatory systems in the fight against substandard and falsified medical products, experts believe will help prevent manufacturing, sale, and consumption. In Lagos, Adejoke Odeka, NTA News.
And still in Lagos, Lanre Bilei is out there to provide more insights on fake drugs and substance abuse. Lanre, good to see you almost every now and then anyway. But how is this major problem impacting our youth in particular? It's good to know you're on the streets.
You see, the thing is that I'll try to go through this as quickly as I can, because time may not be on my side. Let's start with curbing fake drugs. From NAFDAC point of view, fake drug means any drugs that has not passed through them is fake. So if you have a drug coming in locally or internationally and it has not passed through NAFDAC, it's fake. So to drive home this message, they went into the town here in Lagos and closed about 11,000 shops for allegedly selling fake drugs. And they have their task force, they have their surveillance team monitoring this every time. And that is NAFDAC's point of view. Now, let's go to the second one, to cut it short. There are some drugs that are also drugs that are normally used, over-the-counter drugs, prescription drugs, but are being abused. And this is where NAFDAC comes in, and NDLEA. There's a nexus between them. Let's take, for example, opioid. Opioid is a drug derived from an opium plant, and it's used to produce morphine, fentanyl, and codeine. These are painkiller drugs that doctors often prescribe to patients that are going through severe pain or injuries. Now, substance abusers are now using it to get high, because opioid, the job of the opioid is to get into the brain and block pain receptors and create a kind of euphoria for the patients. But now, substance abusers are now going into it. For example, a drug like tramadol is a painkiller, and they are going into it and try to use it in large substances to gain that euphoria. And now NAFDAC is saying, although this is being regulated, we can't continue with this. NDLEA is also saying, you can't be smuggling this thing into it. Although it's tablets, you can't smuggle them in. And they've decided to come into a collaboration because they discovered that we can't work in silos. They have to have an interagency collaboration. So this interagency collaboration, why NDLEA is monitoring smuggling of drugs that are morphine-based, that are opioid-based into the country, NAFDAC is also monitoring the administration of these drugs so that it won't be used. Let's take, for example, cough syrups. It's still over-the-counter drugs. When you have a cough, you go there and buy your cough syrup. But these syrups have codeine inside. And these substance abusers will buy it and drink it at once. What should be used in doses, they'll take it in at once. So this is what they are combating right now in the country. So these are the two things. I believe I've been able to do that with the time that I have. Ayo.
Larry, thanks so much for giving us that insight and making relevant examples to the extent of drug and substance abuse that we're having among the youth population and efforts to also combat drug smuggling in the country. Thank you for your time. Now, as Africa strives for universal energy access, championing women's inclusion in the energy industry has been reviewed as crucial. Key stakeholders stress that by integrating gender considerations into energy policies, Africa can accelerate its journey towards sustainable and inclusive energy access. Lydia Sampson reports.
It is not a coincidence that at two different panel discussions, policy and women inclusion was highly considered influential in playing pivotal roles in achieving energy access and energy security.
The power sector is one that is driven by demand, is demand-driven, and so the activities of the downstream electricity markets would determine our generation capacity in upstream.
Long adage of the women are not there, I think we've quelled it. Women are there, they're available, they're competent, and they are necessary to drive the agenda of this country and this administration in the energy industry.
They agreed that deliberate policies prioritizing all energy solutions must be implemented across the various sectors to harness and improve energy production and efficiency.
With Africa's abundant gas reserves, it is imperative that we maximize these resources to power industries, electrify rural and urban communities, and catalyze socio-economic development.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR's administration prioritized energy security as a cornerstone of national development.
Key stakeholders who discuss strategies to bridge the energy gap, empower undeserved communities, and drive economic growth believe the best approach is to build sustainable energy infrastructure and reduce poverty. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
With a few days to the month of Ramadan, when Muslim faithful all over the world observe 29 or 30 days of fasting, most parts of Kebbi State is bustling with activities in preparation for the holy month. Correspondent Abdul Jalil Muhammad Bawa reports.
Kebbi State, Muslims are cleaning up places of worship in preparation for the commencement of the holy month.
Every Muslim that can ask Allah for anything. If this Ramadan come, so he's supposed to fear anything.
Another area evident with the preparations is the market, where people are making purchases for the fasting period. Unlike the previous years, when the price of food items and provision skyrocket before and during the holy month, the prices of food is on the decrease. For example, a bag of rice sold for 90,000 a few weeks back is now 70,000 naira. Wild beans is 80,000, millet is 50,000, and guinea corn around the same price. This could be attributed to the effort of government at all levels and religious leaders in Kebbi, who made it a point of duty to preach against unnecessary pricing weeks before during the holy month. However, prices of groceries such as milk, sugar, and beverages usually used more during the fasting period are still not cheap in the market. For a smooth conduct of the fasting, schools across the state are also closed until after the Ramadan. Abdul Mohammed Bawa, NTA News.
Crossover now to Birnin Kebbi, the state's capital of Kebbi State, where Abdul Jalil will just give us that report now. Will be giving us more in terms of the situation right now in the state. It's good to know that prices of food items have reduced.
Thank you, Ayodeji. Kebbi State is a religious sensitive community. For the past 2 weeks, each and every mosque visited, they are preaching about the do and don't in the Ramadan period, which is the month of Ramadan. Equally, charity is one another important aspect of the Ramadan fasting period, where the well-to-do individuals in the society buy food in bulk and groceries and other items needed by fasting individuals to share for less privilege in the society. Another aspect is at different fora, women are being enlightened on what is expected of them to put extra effort during the Ramadan period, apart from the fasting, the way and manner they should take care of their households. Equally, each and every mosque in the city, preaching is going on, tafsir is day and night prior to the Ramadan period to prepare the minds of people about the fasting. Equally, even the Nigerian Television Authority in Birnin Kebbi is not left out in this journey, because on Friday they are organizing a Ramadan lecture to invite clerics on to preach for people on the do and don't, the expectation of a Muslim during the fasting period. And when you go back to the aspect of prices of food items, honestly, the food items, especially grains, are cheaper now in Birnin Kebbi, the Kebbi state capital, and so also the for Emirate in the state. Only that there are some items which are a bit higher despite the coming of the fasting period.
We expect more positive vibes with the countdown to the holy month of Ramadan in Kebbi State and all across Nigeria. Abdul Jalil in Birnin Kebbi, I'd like to thank you for your time. Federal government of Nigeria has congratulated the state of Kuwait on our 64th independence anniversary. Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tuga, in a congratulatory message to the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the state of Kuwait, Abdullah Ali Al-Yahya, stated that Nigeria and Kuwait share a long-standing relationship rooted in mutual respect, cooperation and shared aspirations for global prosperity. In a statement by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, indicates Nigeria values the bond of friendship between the two nations and expresses hope in deepening bilateral ties in areas of mutual interest. As the state of Kuwait celebrates its 64th independence anniversary, Nigeria stands in solidarity with Kuwait and its people to mark this significant milestone, a testament to Kuwait's resilience, progress, and commitment to peace and development. Alwal in our Lagos Network Center will be our first port of call, and he's got on his table some business news there. Over to you, Alwal.
Ayodeji. Rebasing the consumer price index will help achieve a more feasible and realistic economic planning, as data from the National Bureau of Statistics and other agencies will be more reliable, since it is predicated on recent figures and a shorter span. Joel Popola reports that economic experts say that the move will be in tune with current realities.
The recent rebasing of the consumer price index has had an immediate impact on headline inflation. Experts say this move is in tandem with global best practice, as the IMF and other international agencies recommend a 5-year rebasing period. This move, respondents are confident, will allow for a more impactful economic planning that can be easily reviewed.
You don't want to be comparing prices, current prices, with prices that are as old as 6 years ago or probably even more. So the closer the base year, the better and the more realistic is what you're measuring.
Economic experts who attributed the initial rise in figures to increase in price of food, transportation and energy explained that there is still much to be done to sustain the gains of the rebasing for it to have positive impact on the average Nigerian.
Make more food available and the prices affordable. For the prices to be affordable, we have to produce more, obviously. For the energy, there has to be a lot of lifestyle adjustment by people, and for industrial consumers, they have to consider cheaper alternative. There are alternatives which are already on the ground. CNG is a very good one.
It's for the government to target what I call food security policy. If government invests a lot on the agricultural sector, then there will be improvement on the consumer price index. And another one is addressing the structural inflation.
With the base year adjustment, economic experts believe this move will boost investors' confidence in the nation's economy, which will attract foreign investments. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
And still talking economy, elimination of trade barriers, financial experts say, helps a nation produce and sell more products, rake in substantial revenue, increasing the nation's GDP. Bolaji Akim, who interacted with some financial analysts on trade integration in Nigeria, now reports.
The adoption of African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement in March 2018 by 55 countries of the African Union and 8 regional economic communities is the best thing to have happened to the African continent. The aim is to boost trade by removing all trade barriers between the countries involved and create common policies for easy movement of goods and services. With a large domestic market, Nigeria has a lot to benefit from the agreement.
It is what you have. The quantum of what you have will determine how you dictate the play. We have land, we have labor, I'm talking about population, we have capital, I'm talking about what we realize from our God-given gift. We have entrepreneurship.
Despite the huge deposit of natural resources and large domestic markets in the country, key players in the African Continental Free Trade Area are of the opinion that the country still has untapped advantages in the agreement.
Consistency in policies are major problems. No business can thrive in a situation of uncertainty.
When you export, you earn a foreign exchange for the country. You benefit from that because you also can use your own foreign exchange for your imports.
Stakeholders are of the opinion that providing information on import regulations and trade partners by government will go a long way in revenue generation and job creation. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
And those are the stories from Lagos. Nationwide will continue in Makurdi after the break. Don't go away.
I am Oluremi Tinubu, the global and national Stop TB champion. Many people have asked why I've chosen to champion the fight against a disease like tuberculosis. My reason stems from a deep personal experience. I once had a friend who unfortunately fell ill and concealed the nature of his sickness until it was too late. Eventually,
Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, in collaboration with the National Social Investment Programs Agency, National Social Safety Nets Coordinating Office, and the National Cash Transfer Office.
That you could stay. This is Makurdi. I'm Charles Saba. Our first story is on disaster where a 3-bedroom flat located at number 9 Ogrioko Road, GRA Makurdi, belonging to Manager News and Current Affairs, NTA Network Center Makurdi, Masefan Dankaro, has been razed by fire. Simbiat Agbaji, who was at the scene, brings us details.
The devastating fire incident occurred Monday afternoon at number 9 Ogrioko Road, OGRA Makurdi. The fire was said to spread quickly and destroyed everything, leaving the occupants with nothing. Eyewitnesses who described the scene as chaotic said they heard a loud explosion and tried their best to put out the fire, but it was rather late.
Before I know, the smoke starts coming to the house. So we rush come here. So we say, make them bring plier. Me too, I'm a weather. So I come out the wire. Before I know, the house don't already catch fire.
By the time I got there, the whole house was raised down. They said the light sparked from the pole. And then the next thing is there was a spark inside the house. And then the fire just blew out. My wife gone to work, I went to work, my 2 daughters were in school.
Our certificates, just everything, all the pin was picked from there. At the moment, we're taking refuge at the church, but I'm hoping that God in his infinite mercy will raise help
Agents from the state and federal service who were quickly deployed to the scene spoke to NTA on the assessment of the building.
I mobilized my men immediately. Reaching the scene, we discovered a 3-bedroom apartment was on fire. I was fully occupied by flame. We soon got into action and put up the fire.
We always tell the public, always have our contact, the one for Benue State here, 090-7777-061. You call us, that means it will go straight to our control room here. Or you call even though if you call the Abuja, they'll still route the call.
They further said the incident is a tragic reminder of the importance of electrical safety and the need for regular maintenance. In Makurdi, Simbiat Agbaji, NTA News.
And on matters of health, Benue State government has declared an outbreak of Lassa fever with 5 confirmed cases, 3 deaths, and 40 suspected cases. Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Dr. Yama Otese, disclosed this while briefing journalists in Makurdi. Blessing Omeche Ebute reports.
Briefing journalist, Benue State Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Dr. Yama Otese, while officially announcing an outbreak of Lassa fever in the state, confirmed that a 10-member National Rapid Response Team has been deployed to the state to support the response efforts.
Benue State has battled recurrent outbreaks of Lassa fever over the past 4 years, with each successive year recording a higher number of cases than the previous one. This year, we have recorded already 40 suspected cases, with 5 confirmed cases and 3 deaths. This represents a case fatality rate of 60%. In light of these alarming figures, officially declare a Lassa fever outbreak in Benue State.
Dr. Otese also announced that the state is grappling with a snake bite outbreak, with 199 cases reported in Guma local government area of the state. In Makurdi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
Those are our reports from Makurdi. Ayodeji is back to you.
Thank you very much, Charles, in Makurdi Network Center. The Christian Association of Nigeria is emphasizing the importance of promoting fundamental needs, harmony and stability to build a better Nigeria. This was expressed during the election of executives for the 19 northern states and the FCT. Elizabeth Omori reports.
The church, theologians say, plays an important role in shaping national values and contributing to the social, moral and spiritual fabric of society. These roles have over the years propelled the activities of the Christian Association of Nigeria and the newly elected executives of the 19 northern states and the FCT of the body are poised to pick up the mantle to make more visible impacts in the church and nation.
We will do our best to make sure that we speak in love, we speak for unity, we speak for togetherness. This country needs the commitment and the sacrifice of everybody.
We are going to support government in every angle we could. And where the government are going astray, we advise.
Executive Secretary NCPC urges the new executives to remain selfless as they serve.
It is God that appoints people. God who has brought them up will give them the endowments, will give them the enablements so that they'll be able to deliver.
Reverend Joseph Ayab is the new chairman, and Simon Dolly, Director, National Issues. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
And now reactions trail the ban on police officers without uniform from handling rifles. This will be the top story from our Port Harcourt Network Center, and Deepa Barry is our guide.
Port Harcourt. A cross-section of Port Harcourt residents have expressed delight with the ban on police personnel not in uniform from bearing rifles, as it will help address rising security concerns. This is as stakeholders have called for strict compliance. Kingsley Amaji reports.
The latest directive by the IGP notes that no operative should be seen carrying assault arms while dressed in civilian attire. This is as the police also directed its personnel to protect human rights with all tactical squads to ensure compliance with the standard operating procedure, coming at a time there is increase in crime and criminality, especially with a number of non-state actors perpetrating evil with rifles. This decision to residents is necessary.
As a policeman, you are supposed to dress properly to let people know that you are a policeman. You can't wear mufti and then carry arms, because though we have those who are in the intelligence unit, but they are for intelligence. And then those who are supposed to carry arms are supposed to be well dressed.
It will help to curb all these hoodlums and the criminal activities that is going on in Nigeria.
This young man recently had a life-threatening experience with men of the underworld. He wants the IGP to see to the compliance of the directive by all commands and units of the Nigerian police.
Last week I was in Owerri and we were just held down with men from Lexus or Mufti and guns and masks. You will tell me that they are officers. Even if they tell me they are officers, I won't believe them. You know, it happens all the time. So it's a very good decision.
Another interesting aspect of the directive is the issue of protection of human rights. To some legal practitioners, this is a national concern requiring urgent action.
What the IG has said is good, but there needs to be some sort of say a directive, written one. If there's any violation, individuals can rely on such a directive. They are going to court.
So I think that order is welcome and it should have come before now. But most importantly, I think that implementation is key.
Observers want the authorities to also ensure that harassment of young people on the road is put to an end, adding that proper identification of officers in uniform will not only help in according respect to the institution, but also enable members of the public identify who they are dealing with on the roads. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
There are indications that Nigerian youths are pressed for action and eager to lead and create the needed change. However, there are questions about whether they have all the knowledge and skills required to vie for leadership positions. To bridge this gap, the month of February is designated as Youth Leadership Month, a time dedicated to encouraging youths to take on leadership roles and make a difference in their communities. In this report, Chidibiroya takes a look at the role of youth in leadership and development.
Youth's participation in leadership plays an important role in driving sustainable development, especially as young people are said to have the capacity to bring fresh perspectives, creativity, and technological innovation to governance and community development. In Nigeria, a country which has one of the largest youth populations in the world, the need for visionary leadership in youth development is strongly advocated.
As a youth, you can't achieve nothing if the people ahead of you did not give you that platform. You can't tell me I'm the leader of tomorrow when I'm not given that platform to experience it or to know that years of a truth, I'm actually the leader for tomorrow.
I encourage all the youth to come out en masse, challenge themselves to see that we fit in many of these situations, any of those positions that we wish to aspire for.
I encourage them to always grab opportunities and go out for mentorship. Mentorship is the way forward. You can't be looking for an easy way. If it comes easily, it will go easily. So there is no shortcut anywhere.
Although youths in this climb are faced with challenges including unemployment and barriers to education, proponents say vying for leadership is about having the wherewithal to influence decision-making and to engage in meaningful activities that will contribute to building a better society.
Look at what is happening in China. 95% of the China citizens, they are into research and development. They are creative. They are using their dexterity to survive. Creativity, creative ideas, going into some resourceful program that can change the nation.
The youth too, they are vibrant. They are up to do to be given this platform. And I believe that at the end of the day, every person will smile. Let the youth be tested.
This year's Global Observance celebrates youths with the theme, empowering the next generation of African leaders. In Port Harcourt, Chidiebere Onye, NTA News.
And that's our beat from Port Harcourt. The news will continue in Sokoto right after the break. Good evening.
Of Nigeria warns vandals of national assets, electricity transmission towers, cables and other facilities to desist from this act of sabotage. Vandalism is a serious crime punishable under the law. Vandalizing electrical equipments will affect millions of Nigerians, including your loved ones. Remember that national assets belong to all of us, hence the need to protect them. Report all cases of suspicious movement around electrical facilities to security agencies. When you see something, say something. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation in collaboration with the National Counter-Terrorism Center, NCTC, Office of the National Security Advisor.
Welcome to Silver Oasis.
Silver Oasis, a TV series dedicated to aging and older persons in Nigeria. Be part of this series and discover the transformative programs crafted to give a new lease of life to our senior citizens, courtesy of the National Senior Citizen Center.
The National Senior Citizen Center is the oasis for the senior citizens.
For thought-provoking discussions on aging, geriatric social care, and issues that matter most to our senior citizens.
Silver Oasis.
Silver Oasis.
Silver Oasis.
Tune in to Silver Oasis on the network service of the NTA every Saturday at 10:05 p.m. Silver Oasis, improving the quality of lives of senior citizens.
Welcome to Sokoto on Nationwide. In the landmark initiative aimed at driving youth empowerment and economic stability, the Sokoto state government has successfully trained 500 young men and women in tailoring as part of its comprehensive skills acquisition program. Governor Ahmad Aliyu affirmed the administration's dedication to cultivating a self-reliant and industrious youth workforce. Dalata Abdullahi brings you more.
Each of the 500 young men and women beneficiaries received a tailoring machine and 50,000 naira cash as startup support, in addition to words of encouragement from speakers at the ceremony held at the Government House, Sokoto. Governor Ahmed Aliyu emphasized the importance of empowering youth, urging them to become role models. He revealed that plans are underway to train more youth, aiming to make them self-sufficient and reduce restiveness.
All this is aimed to make sure that our teeming youth that are mostly found idle, lazy and unproductive become productive and useful members of our society.
Commissioner for Local Governments and Chieftaincy Affairs Ibrahim Dadi Adari and Special Advisor to the State Governor on Community Development Garba Maitumbi Kebe commended Governor Aliyu for his focus on youth empowerment and the ministry's activities.
Our people are thoroughly in need of support, and this is one of the supports.
Beneficiaries expressed gratitude for the gesture, pledging to utilize the support appropriately.
He really showed love and concern to people of Sokoto, more especially the women and the youth.
Ahmad Aliyu Sokoto, thank you so much.
Notably, this graduation ceremony follows the recent graduation of 500 young women trained in various trades under the State Poverty Reduction Agency. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Restoring constitutional power to traditional institutions, leveraging available organic resources and cooperation among the state actors are part of solutions to the lingering security challenges bedeviling northern Nigeria. These were among the highlights of a security conference convened to examine the roles and responsibility of corporate bodies, groups, and individuals in finding lasting solutions to the crisis. Abdullahi Umar Ilelu has more.
The Security Summit in Sokoto brought together key stakeholders to address the root causes of persistent social challenges in the region. The guest speakers unanimously emphasized the crucial role of traditional institutions in community policing, highlighting their historical success in facilitating effective information gathering and sharing to maintain security in the northern region. They also recognized the importance of collaborative efforts among federal and state governments, security personnel, socio-cultural groups, and individuals to combat growing insecurity across the country.
I'm overwhelmed the way I see the commitment of His Excellency the Governor, Ahmed Aliyu, toward enhancing better security in Sokoto State.
Government to really find amicable solution in terms of justice, in terms of fairness, in terms of inclusive government.
That the government of Sokoto State will think of organizing this event, bringing everybody is one, and it's a very critical step in overcoming banditry.
Governor Ahmed Aliyu expressed concern over escalating security challenges in the eastern axis of the state, stressing that security is a shared responsibility.
We have equally assured sustained engagement with traditional rulers and all other relevant stakeholders with a view to secure our dear state.
Highlight of the conference was the conferment of titles to Governor Ahmed Aliyu as Icon of Security and Sustainability in Sokoto, and Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs Ibrahim Dade Adere as Champion of Community Development. In Sokoto, Abdullah Omar Ilalu, NTA News.
And that is our contribution from Sokoto. Is back to Ayo in Abuja for the continuation of the news.
Thank you. Nigeria will continuously create opportunities for the youth to be actively involved in the digital economic drive of President Bola Tinubu's administration. Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosso Tijani, disclosed this at Nigeria Korea Information Access System Center in Abuja. The reports.
Another bridge from south of the Sahara to far east. Here is the Digital Bridge Institute that has drawn government officials for the inauguration of the Nigeria Korea Information Access Center. It is the first center to be equipped and will specialize in AI training, adoption of physical and virtual simulation methods, with at least 15,000 people expected to be trained before the end of the year. Digital Bridge Institute and Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy call for focus and exploration of federal government's policies.
You shouldn't listen to naysayers. Find centers like this where you can benefit, centers like this where you can gain access to infrastructure, to technology, to knowledge that can help you actually build a career that is useful for yourself.
These vital and basic skills that they will acquire from this center will form the foundation for hopefully prosperity in the area of AI for Nigeria.
They have a curriculum for young people to use and then see how that solves specific or industry-based questions.
We think Nigeria shows a very, strong commitment to AI development.
The facilities provided 100% by the Korean government is a gateway to opening of new frontiers in Nigeria's digital economy. In Abuja, Ayodeji.
Well, that's nationwide. I'd like to thank you for watching. I'm Ayodeji Makinde on behalf of the entire production crew. This is the Nigerian Television Authority. Bye-bye.